What is wrong with the New Orleans Pelicans? Today we are doing a bit of a rant video. So usually we do reaction videos on this channel, but the only thing we are reacting to today is the Pelicans' vomit-inducing, despicable, disgusting performance at home in front of a packed Smoothie King Center yesterday, Sunday, April 14th. So tomorrow, the Lakers stay in New Orleans. The Lakers play the Pelicans in the first game of the play-in tournament. I will be there, and I have a sneaky feeling that the result will be similar. And controversial yet brave decision by me to put this video out the day before that game. But I have no reason to believe the Pelicans will have any different of a performance. I have no reason to believe the Pelicans will all of a sudden beat the Lakers. So I'm looking forward to Friday already. Either the loser of either the Kings or the Warriors, whoever loses that game, we will play them Friday with all of the marbles on the table, everything going on. But in this video here, I want to talk about what I've watched as a Pelicans fan, as a season ticket holder for the last 3 seasons. I have watched this team do the same thing for 3 seasons in a row, and quite frankly, I'm sick of it. This team it's hard being a Saints fan. It is so much harder being a Pelicans fan. So much harder. And this is exhibit A of why. So this tweet was on April 5th, okay? Look at this. So this is, the Pelicans have had 14 losses of 32 losses in which they've blown a lead of 10 plus. In 8 of those games, ESPN has given the Pelicans a win probability over 90%. Embarrassing. It is embarrassing. So let's look at it. Game 6, Hawks. Largest lead 10, lose by 18. Talking about almost a 30-point swing. Nuggets, largest lead by 20, lose by 18, a 38-point swing. Rockets, largest lead by 10, lose by 3. Wolves, largest lead 15, lose by 1. Jazz, 13, lose by 5. Bulls, 10, lose by 6. Grizzlies, largest lead by 24, lose by 2. Grizzlies, largest lead by 15, lose by 1. Mavs, largest lead 10, lose by 5. Celtics, and you can keep going and going and going. Bulls, again. Magic, largest lead by 12, lose by 15. Celtics, 11 by 12. Spurs, 15, lose by 2. And you can see these teams. These teams are ass. The Spurs, ass. The Bulls, not good. Grizzlies, ass. Grizzlies, ass. Jazz, bad. Rockets, bad. Like, all these teams are bad. Hawks, bad. All these teams are bad. And most of these, if I had to guess, I would like to see how many of these are at home. I know the Spurs is at home. I know the Grizzlies is at home. I want to say the Rockets were at home, because all this team does is lose at home. You look at the Pelicans are 21-19 at home. 21-19 at home. So to finish the season, if you look at their schedule, and I was at every one of these games. I go to almost every regular season game. I missed very, very few. If you look at how they finished, look at this stretch right here. So Boston, Phoenix, Orlando, San Antonio, all at home. I want to say in each of these games, we were down 20 plus points at home. No team, no good team, gets blown out quicker than the Pelicans. And you know who the Pelicans really get blown out by? The Lakers. In big, meaningful games. Season on the line. Win this game and you go into the playoffs. Win this game and you're the 6th seed. At home. Packed Smoothie King Center. Playoff atmosphere. And what do? You immediately go down 30 points. Immediately. Like it was nothing. Largest lead, 32. I didn't go to this game because it was the last day of French Quarter Fest in New Orleans. And weeks ago, I said, I'm not going to be able to go to this game. Not going to be able to be a part of this because of French Quarter Fest. Thank God. Thank God I didn't ruin my day and go watch this. Because the worst part of these games, as a guy who's done it quite a few times, you go to this game, they go down 20, 25 points immediately. And then you have to sit there for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and watch this team bounce between being down 15 points and 22 points. 15 points and 22 points. At that point, you're just spending your night, 3-4 hours of your night. You're doing all that just for some Dippin' Dots, just for some crispy, crunchy chicken at the concession stand. That's it. The Spurs game, you want to talk about a disgruntled fan. The Spurs game with the Pelicans, when they blew a 15-point lead to the Spurs at home, one of the worst teams in the NBA, I went to that game by myself. I sat there by myself, ate a fried shrimp platter, and watched this team vomit all over themselves like they had too many hurricanes on Bourbon Street. Vomit all over themselves against the Spurs. Against a team that isn't even trying. Let Devontae Graham revenge game, drop like 20 points on them. If they win that game, if they would have won that game, they're in the playoffs, right? But what do? Like I said, vomit all over themselves. But it's not just that. The Suns, huge game. Absolutely huge game Monday, April Fool's Day. They're playing the Suns. Couldn't wait. Huge game. And what do they immediately do? Go down 27. You can see it right here. Game was over in the first quarter. Game was over. Phoenix drops 46. Devin Booker was on pace for about 140 points. Boom. 46 points. Pels are down 18 at the end of the first quarter. That was it. I went to this game. I sat there for the second quarter and the third quarter and the fourth quarter and watched the Pels bounce in between being down 15 and 20 as I sat there and ate crispy crunchy chicken and some rainbow Dippin' Dots. So what's the problem? Like, what is the problem with this team? If you show me this, I would tell you the problem is coaching. I would tell you the problem is our rotation. And the problem is our rotation. If you look at the Pelicans and you look at their roster, they have one huge problem. The problem with the roster, if we go to the box score of the Lakers game, the problem with the roster and how it's constructed is that it's a lot of the same player. It's a lot of players who play defense, but they can't really score. I'm talking about Larry Nance. I'm talking about Jose Alvarado. I'm talking about Najee Marshall. I'm talking about Dyson Daniels. And what we see, because Jonas can't play with athletic teams, which is also a problem, this problem was the same problem we had against the Suns. So the last time we made the playoffs, the Suns were an issue for us because of their big man, right? So at the time, their big man was DeAndre Ayton, right? Big guy, stretched the floor. We didn't really have an answer for him. All we could do at the time was try and put Larry Nance and Najee Marshall on DeAndre Ayton because we didn't have a lot of depth for Jonas because Jonas isn't a rim protector. Jonas is an athletic big. Jonas struggles when the game gets fast. Jonas has to kind of, he wants to get down in the paint, get down in the post, play a slow, sluggish 1998 style ball. But in today's NBA, when you have teams with athletic bigs like Anthony Davis, like LeBron James, like Nikola Jokic, players like that, Jonas really can't do anything. And we saw that in the Lakers game. We saw that because he played 7 minutes. They started him. Willie started him, realized this isn't going to work, took him out. And we see a combination of Larry Nance and Najee Marshall was hurt this game, but we've had 3 years since the Sun series to correct that, to go get some depth, go get an athletic big, go get someone who can help Jonas out, go get a rim protector, go get someone who can help us. What are we still doing? There's a show when this game was, the date? What are we still doing since this playoff series against the Suns? The same thing. We are still asking Larry Nance, and if Najee Marshall would have been available, he would have done the same thing. We're asking a combination of Larry Nance and Najee Marshall to try and play with Anthony Davis and LeBron James, try and guard them. That isn't going to work. That hasn't worked all season. And another thing it really messes up with these rotations and why we blow games is because then we get really shallow. Because if Najee Marshall and Larry Nance are busy dealing with whatever Jonas can't do, then that's 2 more players that can't rotate for their actual positions. They can't rotate for Zion. They can't rotate for Brandon Ingram or Herb Jones or Trey Murphy or CJ McCollum. And we end up just playing this weird rotation where we'll end up with CJ, Dyson, Larry, Najee, and Jose on the floor. And you look around and you're like, wow, 4 of the 5 guys on the floor cannot score. We don't have any shooters. The only shooter we really have, besides Trey Murphy, is Jordan Hawkins and Matt Ryan. But Matt Ryan might as well move to Birmingham because he's played more for the Birmingham team than he has for the Pelicans. But Jordan Hawkins doesn't play. Why? Who the hell knows? Willie Green doesn't know. Jordan Hawkins' game log should be studied. It should be sent to the Louvre. If you look at his game log, he has, let's start early in the season. So Jordan Hawkins starts the season. Look at him. He shoots 6 threes, 7 threes, 13 threes, 5, 8, 14, 8, 9, 12, 12. Well, then what happened here? All of a sudden, Jordan Hawkins just doesn't play. All of a sudden, 7 minutes, 3 minutes, 6 minutes, 3 minutes, 6, 5, 5. He's just not playing at all. Just who knows why? I don't know. He's taking 1 3 here, 2 threes here, in games that we're losing. You know, games where we need someone to come in and score. The Spurs, 4 threes. The Suns, hey, we're getting dominated. We're down 30 points. Devin Booker is about to score 216 points. We need something to happen. Let's keep our shooter off the floor. We'll be able to come back with our high level scorers, or combination of Dyson Daniels and Najee Marshall and Larry Nance. We just can't do it. Like, we don't have that capability. So the rotation is an issue. Jonas is an issue. Our roster construction is an issue. And that's the reason I think we're going to get smoked by the Lakers. Because the Lakers have proven time and time again this season that they are our worst possible matchup. Because they are not afraid to go LeBron James and Davis as their big men, and we don't have an answer. We do not have anyone on the roster who can handle someone like Anthony Davis. In this game, this is the infamous play-in tournament. The infamous play-in tournament where we went down immediately. Sound kind of familiar? Huge game. The world is watching. Primetime TV. Semifinals of the play-in tournament in Las Vegas. What do we immediately do? Go down 44 points. The Pelicans don't just not show up to these games. They get blown out in front of God and everybody. Get completely rolled. Now, in this game, Willie actually played Jonas. He played Jonas 23 minutes. Let's see how that worked out. Jonas went 3 for 9 from the field, including 1 3-pointer. He had 2 free throws. He had 3 rebounds from our center, 2 assists, 9 points. Wonder what Anthony Davis did. Anthony Davis had 15 rebounds. I wonder why. Probably because Jonas was in the middle of the court doing shuttle run drills, just going back and forth, instead of being athletic enough and fast enough to keep up and get down in the paint. The Lakers have done this to us every time they've played us this season. Every single time. They have completely blown us out. Why? Because it's a matchup problem. It's a roster build problem, and the Lakers have been the Lakers for multiple years. These teams that we don't match up with have been there for multiple years. We are not a young team. We're not a young up-and-coming team who's just trying to figure this stuff out. Since the Suns series, we have had time to figure this out. We have not figured it out. The roster construction, I can't even call it construction because nothing has happened. Again, look at the Suns box score. Look at the team. What's happened? The only thing that's happened is we've lost players. We lost Jackson Hayes, who was impactful, certainly at times during his time with the Pelicans. We lost Devontae Graham, which is exactly what we need. We need shooters. We need guys who can come in and score on their own. And what did we replace them with? Absolutely nothing. If you look at this box score and you look at this box score, the only thing that's different is we have more scrubs. We have Krucher and Brockington and Matt Ryan and Jackson Robinson Earl and EJ Liddell and Cody Zeller. We've taken that roster who we should have said, okay, we've got a really young roster here. We got a young roster. We played the Suns, 6-game series. We're in a great spot. We're in a fantastic spot. We can do this. Zion's coming back. Let's get him some help. Let's get him some help and build this thing. Instead, they said, you know what? Let's take any kind of a rotation, any kind of depth we had, and let's just make it worse. Let's go get guys that we wouldn't play if our life depended on it. Let's go get a Jackson Robinson, or let's go get a Cody Zeller. I'm not sure if Cody Zeller would play on most YMCA teams right now. Let's go get Matt Ryan. Let's go get him because we need a shooter. Ooh, but let's do a twist to it. Let's not play him. That'll be fun. That'll be cool. Let's do that. And then we have this one outlier. So I saw this on Twitter today. All right. Anybody rewatch the game the Pelicans won this season against the Lakers yet? What worked? What didn't? Now, I would tell you to watch the games where we went down 45 points and 30-plus points and see what happened in those games, because the answer is the same. And then I go down in the replies, and I see all this early season basketball, turnovers, Jose Alvarado's defense, the energy, Najee Marshall's energy, Larry Nance, Herb on D'Angelo Russell, blah, 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 blah. You know that scene in Dragon Ball Z when Majin Buu is talking to Gohan and Gohan's talking about just a bunch of nonsense, and Majin Buu tells Gohan that you're missing the point. That's how I feel, because everyone in these replies is missing the point. You know why the Pelicans won this game? I'll give you a reason why. And this is why this channel is doing things differently. Because I'm the only channel that is going to bring this up. It's the first thing I thought of. And it's because I see this kind of stuff through the lens of a sports bettor. And we better start thinking different as fans if we want this team to get good. So what was the difference in this game? I'll tell you the difference, and it has nothing to do with this box score. If you say free throws, wrong. Assists, wrong. Threes, wrong. The difference in this game, if you go all the way back to when it was played in December, so this was a New Year's Eve game right here. The last time we played was December 28th. We also had been home for almost 10 days. Last time we played on the road was December 21st. So a full 10 days. What about the Lakers at that time? Let's see. The Lakers at that time, when they played us December 31st, they were on a back-to-back. They played at Minnesota the night before. They also played on the 28th. So we were a game ahead of them as far as the schedule. They were off a road trip, and it was a back-to-back with travel. And they are a very top-heavy team with 2 stars who played 39 minutes and 39 minutes in a loss to the Timberwolves, got on a plane, flew to New Orleans, where the Pelicans had been sitting at home for 10 days and hadn't played in 3 games. That's why. That's it. It has nothing to do with whatever these people are talking about. Strictly a scheduling spot. Every other time when the Lakers haven't been on a back-to-back with travel, when they're sitting there and they're playing and they're rested, they beat us by 30 and 40 and whatever else. Now, if rotations are the problem and we're blowing all these games right here, maybe it's Willie Green. Well, guess not. Guess it isn't Willie Green. It's not Willie Green, I guess, because we decided to extend him. We decided to extend Willie Green. Willie has increased his winning record each season. How do you feel about this extension? I hate it. Why? Because we've gotten worse. No, James, they're winning more games. You don't make the playoffs against the Suns without Zion. Get Zion back. Have years of development with Herb Jones and Trey Murphy. Have Herb Jones playing like a all NBA defensive team type player. Have him playing like that, and you can't even make the playoffs. You can't even get back to the playoffs. All you do is lose in the play-in. Last year, what do? Lose in the play-in to Oklahoma City. Get embarrassed. Where was that game? At home. No one has seen more losses. No one has seen more just heartbreak than the Pelicans fans at home. The Pelicans can't win primetime games. games on TV and games at home. Bad news for this week. We play the Lakers tomorrow night in a primetime game on TV at home. Friday, we play either the Kings or the Warriors in a primetime game at home in front of our home crowd on TV. Not good. Not good at all. Every playoff game on TV, primetime. The team's broken. The roster's broken. The team has taken this young core and they have done nothing with it. And by the team, I mean Willie Green. They've had a young core, a nucleus of Zion Williamson, Herb Jones, Trey Murphy, and they've done absolutely nothing. They've made the roster worse. They've given us less weapons. Jonas is a complete liability. They've known that, and they haven't addressed it at all. Young teams are supposed to progress. Young teams with good players, stud players, you're supposed to build around them, build a better roster, and then progress. I totally understand that young teams will take lumps. Young teams will be bad at times, but you have to progress. If you look at a young team like let's go to the standings here. This is what it's supposed to look like for a young team. The Magic. The Magic are a young team. They've taken their lumps, and now they are in the playoffs. They're not in the play-in. They're in the playoffs. The Pacers, young team. What have they done? They made the playoffs. They've progressed into the playoffs. What about the Oklahoma City Thunder? Last year, young team in the play-in. I should know. They beat us at home. What have they done? They have not only progressed, but they've got the 1 seed in the West. The 1 seed over the defending world champions with the best player in the NBA, over the Timberwolves, over the Clippers, over all these teams. And what have we done? We were the 4 seed not too long ago when we beat the Clippers. When we beat the Clippers at the Smoothie King Center, it felt like we won the NBA Finals. And all we did at the time was beat the Clippers to get into the 4 seed. And what have we done since then? Choked and vomited and pissed out our leg to where we're not the 4 seed. We're in the play-in. And we had, 5 out of 6 games at home to end the season, where if you win any of those games, you're in the playoffs. And this team doesn't have the spine to win any of those games. This team can't do it. This team can't beat the Spurs at home with a 10-point lead at halftime. They can't do that if you look at this. So we beat the Clippers right here. We beat the Clippers. We go up. I think at the time we're the 4 seed. And then what happens? I'm at this game. Or no, this is on the road against Orlando. We get absolutely smoked. Okay, on the road again, and this is where the wheels fall off. Go back home. We're looking good on the road. Looking great on the road. Win 3 out of 4 on the road. Go home. Loss. Oh, thank God. We're going on the road. Win. Okay, cool. All right, we've had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've had 6 home games, and we're 1-5 in them. So we have another home game to end the season against LeBron James and the Lakers. Win the game, and you're in the playoffs. So our last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So our last 7 home games, we go 1-6. 1-6 in our last 7 home games, including just disgusting losses to the Spurs, disgusting losses to the Suns, disgusting because you're down 18 in the first quarter. A game against Orlando is not competitive at all at any point. And then the Lakers, where you're down 32. So not only do you go 1-6 in your last 7 home games, but you're down 20 points in 5 of the 6 losses. It's not good. It is not good. My prediction, I think the Lakers beat us. I think the Lakers beat us Tuesday. And I think the Pelicans play the Kings in the second game of the play-in on Friday. And I wouldn't be surprised if the Kings beat us either. Because if you look at the Kings, If you look at what they have going on, one big problem. Kings aren't great, right? Kings aren't a great team. But if you look at what they do, pretty small. They play fast. They play small, which means Jonas isn't going to be able to play, which means you're going to have the entire season is going to be on a combination of Larry Nance and Najee Marshall stop Sabonis. That'll probably be it. That'll be the whole thing. Because we know, De'Aaron Fox, Herb Jones, okay, I feel confident with that. But Sabonis and some of these other guys stretching our team out, not good. Not a good matchup at all. Not a good matchup whatsoever. All these teams are bad matchups. The Lakers, the Warriors, and the Kings. Because they all go small. They all go small. We can't play Jonas. We're already an incredibly shallow team. And then by the time we have to rotate, if we have to rotate out of our starters, that's when all of a sudden we rotate out and we end up with a floor full of guys who score 5 to 7 points a game. I mean, if you take a look at this and you eliminate Kruger, Gates, Liddell, Zeller, Sebring, Kyra Lewis, Jackson Robinson Earl, Brockington, Matt Ryan, eliminate those guys because they're not going to play. Okay, so this is really the roster. Look how shallow this is. Oh, well, I guess you can't see because I'm here. But this is the roster. The roster is Zion, Brandon, CJ, Trey Murphy, and Jonas. That's your 5, right? Then you have Herb Jones, Jordan Hawkins, who really doesn't play, Jose, Najee, Dyson, and Larry. And that's it. That's it. Out of that whole, everyone I just named, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 people who average more than 10 points a game. And one of them is Jonas, who's not going to be able to play in these games. So really, you're going into these games with 5 players. 5 players available who average over 10 points a game. This is a roster problem. It's insane how many people we have on the roster who either 1, don't play, or 2, can't play. I'm not sure what the hell our front office is hoarding all of our picks for, but they've had multiple years to get rid of those picks and to find some players. Find anyone. Go get players. Go get someone who can come off the bench and score. Devontae Graham would be huge for us. Huge for us. I mean, Dyson Daniels, unless they put something on the scoreboard where hustle is a contributing stat, nothing. Same with Najee. Same with Jose Alvarado. It's sad. It's sad. It really isn't good. I'm not feeling good about this. I hope they prove me wrong. A lot of people are going to say, keep that same energy for tomorrow. Okay. No doubt. I'll have no problem doing that. I'll be in section 104 with this same energy. I better go hungry because I have a sneaky feeling for about 2.5 hours of that game, it's just going to be me eating dinner. Because I'm not going to be watching the game because we'll be down 18 to 20 points. I might go ahead and schedule my Uber for halftime. I hope I am wrong, but I don't think I am. I talked to Pelicans fans all day. I live in New Orleans. I was a season ticket holder of 3 years. I have heard Pelicans fans for the last 3 months, and they all say the same thing. I have never disliked my favorite team more, and that's exactly how I feel about this team. I have never disliked a team that I root for more than this team because of how this roster is built and because of how they perform at home. And I'm sick and tired of it. I really am. I'm sick and tired of watching 20-point blowouts at home within the first hour of the game. This game against the Lakers was absolutely unforgivable. Unforgivable what they did Sunday. I feel so bad for the fans who didn't get a French Quarter Fest to go support this team in a must-win game and just to watch them go down immediately 30-something points at home. And I wish I could tell you it's, rare. I wish I could tell you it was a rarity to watch that happen. But we watched it happen all year long. Specifically, we've watched it happen 6 times in the last 7 games at home. To show up to watch this team get blown out at home time after time after time after time, it's a slap in the face of the fans. It really is. And, it is what it is. I don't like saying it, but I'm tired of it. I'm tired of watching this. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. See tomorrow night. Go down in the comments below. Let me know. Are you a Pelicans fan? Have you watched this team do this all season long? Are you sick of it too? Or am I being harsh and I got to support the guys and maybe they'll have a better game tomorrow? I don't know. We'll see. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.